Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wheel of Wisdom, episode 162. My name is Anisha, and I basically help women to live an authentic and fulfilling life. So, this is a little bit about me, and I would love to know about you as well. So, feel free to, share which part of the world you are joining us from. And is this your first time here as well? Hello, spiritual. Welcome. Welcome back again. And okay, you're joining us from India. Wonderful. And until you guys drop in which part of the world you're joining us from, let me share with you what we do here. So, we usually begin these lives with a meditation, which is around, let's say, 20 minutes. And that meditation is based upon the code that you see when you open the Insight Timer app. So we meditate upon that code, we feed that wisdom to our subconscious mind, and then we move on to the next phase where we have a wheel of wisdom and we basically spin that wheel and let the universe, God, spirit, higher self, source, whatever you feel is guiding you, to choose a book for us from that wheel. And then once we have a book, what we do next is we play a game where I ask you guys to pick a number and then we do a reading based on that so that everyone present in the space can receive the message that they need to hear most right now. So, this is what we do here in this space. I will share more details when we get to each part, but for right now, I would love to know that are you guys ready for the meditation? Are you guys settled in a quiet place or wherever you would like to meditate? And if you are, you can type ready in the comments to let me know. And until then, let me also type in a message in the comments for those who will join us during the meditation so they know what is going on here. So, just a second. Wonderful, spiritual is ready. Okay, so the message has been dropped. Let me take a sip of water and then I will begin with the meditation. So begin by coming into a comfortable position. You can choose to sit, stand, or lie down. Whatever your body needs right now. As you settle in this position, allow your eyes to close, or alternatively, you can lower your gaze so you can look comfortably at the floor in front of you. And as you arrive here, become aware of your breath. So, resting your awareness on your breath, noticing the air moving in and out. You don't need to change anything about your breath, just simply notice. Notice your breathing. Notice if your breath is fast or slow. Noticing if it is shallow or deep. Again, you don't need to change your breath in any manner. Just for the next few moments, simply observe your breath. Not analyzing, but simply noticing. Noticing the process of breathing. Continue to notice your breath in this manner. And now notice, is your breath any different from when you first started? Has there been any change at all in your breathing? And now gently shift your attention to your mind, becoming aware of your mental state. Is your mind too busy? or scattered or foggy, or maybe it is still and quiet. Just simply notice your mind. Notice the thoughts that are present in your mind. See if you can observe your thoughts without following them, without believing them, without pushing them away. Simply noticing your mind for the next few moments and noticing the thoughts that arises and passes away in your mental space. If a thought makes you follow you, so if you believe a thought and follow it, then all you need to do is simply return back to noticing your mental space again. So continue to notice your mind for a few more moments. See if you can sense the difference between the thoughts and your awareness that is noticing those thoughts. Thoughts move, but your awareness stays. as you rest as an observer, you may feel a little more space inside, a sense of spaciousness within your mind, a little less entanglement, a little more joyous. So simply notice any shifts that happens as you notice your thoughts, as you stay with your mind as an observer. And now bring your attention to your body, noticing the sensations that are present within your body. You might notice tightness, warmth, heaviness, pain, or numbness. So simply observe the sensations that are present within your body in this moment. Whatever you notice is welcome here. Continue to scan your body from your head to toe, noticing the areas that are catching your attention. And noticing the sensations present in those areas. Remember, you are not trying to change anything about any of these areas. You are not forcing any form of relaxation. You are simply noticing. As you become aware of your body, do you notice something subtle? The moment a sensation is noticed, it already begins to shift, even slightly. So, can you notice your sensations shifting the moment you become aware of them? They don't vanish, but simply shift as if they are fluid and not as solid as you might have imagined. And these changes in the sensations do not happen because you force them, but they simply happen because you become aware of them. They were already happening. You just needed to become aware of them. And now place your attention on any muscle in your body that feels tensed. And now, for a few moments, simply notice it without trying to change it, without trying to do anything about it or do it. Just observing, simply noticing. as you do that, you might notice that simply by becoming aware, the tension in that muscle might have melted away just a little bit, or that area might have feel lighter, or like there is a space around that muscle. This is the quiet power of awareness. This meditation was inspired by a timeless quote by Eckhart Tolle. He says, awareness is the greatest agent for change. He is reminding us that real change does not begin with force, fixing, or effort. It begins with awareness, noticing what is happening inside us without trying to push it away or make it different. When we begin to become aware of our thoughts, emotions, sensations, habits, and our reactions, then they naturally begin to soften. Awareness creates space, and in that space, we have the power to respond instead of react. We can choose a new intentional response instead of repeating the same old patterns. And change happens not because we tried harder, but because we saw more clearly. So now that we know that the first step towards change is awareness, we can allow ourselves to come back to our body and gently begin to wake up your body by wiggling your toes and your fingers and gently opening our eyes. arriving back in the space. Welcome back. So, if you guys feel called to share your experience of the meditation, you can do that in the comments. And if you don't feel like typing yet, that's perfectly fine. And I see a lot of new people have joined us while we were meditating. So, a warm welcome to you all. Welcome to Wheel of Wisdom, a space where you receive the message that you need to hear most right now. So, in a moment from now, we are going to move on to phase two of this live, where we are going to spin our wheel of wisdom and let the universe, God, or whatever you believe in to choose a book for us so that we can receive the message that we need to hear most right now. So, let me show you guys, especially the ones who are joining for the very first time, our wheel of wisdom. So, my dear ones, this is our wheel of wisdom, and this wheel contains the name of 51 transformational books that I have came across in my own journey of healing and personal growth. So, what we're going to do is now send out a wish, a prayer, whatever you want to call it, into the universe that may everyone present in the space or who will listen to the recording receives the message that they need to hear most right now. May they receive the message for their highest good. And you can either keep this intention in your mind, or if you have something specific that you would like some guidance on, then you can hold that in your awareness as we spin this wheel. Okay, so the book that came for all of us is The Pocket by Pema Chodron. So this is basically a compilation of all of her works. And sorry I missed your comment, Susie. Welcome to the space. I hope that you enjoyed the meditation. Okay, so let us open this book and see what wisdom wants to arrive in our life through this beautiful book, through this beautiful compilation. So, this is, the book. And now let me pick some numbers so that we can play a game. Okay. So, my dear ones, in a moment from now, I'm going to ask you guys to pick a number between certain numbers. And I do not want you guys to rush. Instead, take your time and see which number pops up in your mind first. Share that in the comments. I will go through all your numbers and pick a number that I am feeling intuitively called to. Okay? So, I invite you guys to pick a number between 20 to 135 to receive the message that you need to hear most right now. Okay, Caro was quick. Thank you, Caro. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Meg. Anyone else who would like to share a number? Okay, then seems like we got top three. So let's see which one am I feeling most called to. And the number that I'm feeling most called to is 58. And the number has been chosen by Meg for all of us. Thank you, dear Meg. So let's see what is the message that wants to come through from page number 58. Hmm. Okay. So the message is mirror, mirror on the wall. Ah, okay. So let's see what the author wants to say. So the author says if we are wholehearted about wanting to be there for other people without shutting anybody or anything out of our hearts, our pretty little self image of how kind or compassionate we are gets completely blown. We are always being tested and we are always meeting our match. The more you are willing to open your heart, the more challenges come along that make you want to shut it. You can't do this work in a safety zone. You have to go out into the marketplace and live your life like everybody else, but with the added ingredient of not wanting to shut anything out of your heart. And it is interesting. You send out a heart in the comments, Meg. Okay. So, um, yeah. So every time your buttons get pushed, it is like a big mirror showing you your own face. And like the evil stepmother in Snow White and the dwarfs and the seven dwarfs, you want the mirror to tell you what you want to hear, even if it's that you haven't been kind. Somehow, you can even use your insight into your limitations to keep yourself feeling alright. What we don't want in in any unforeseen feedback. Sorry, I messed up. Yeah. So, what we don't want is any unforeseen feedback from the mirror. What we don't want is to be naked and exposed. We have blind spots and we put a lot of energy into staying blind. One day, the wicked stepmother went to the mirror and said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And instead of you are sweetheart, the mirror said Snow White. And just like us, she didn't want it to hear it. Nevertheless, I think we all know that there is no point in blaming the mirror when it shows you your own face. And there is certainly no point in breaking the mirror. So, a lot of things poured up in my head as I was reading this, especially the last stanza was about. So, when I was reading it, what poured into my mind was comparison, comparing ourselves to anyone and trying to be our best at anything because, sometimes we have been taught to develop high self esteem. But the problem with self esteem is that we can we can feel good about ourselves, we can judge ourselves as good or as better, as smarter, as beautiful, as all of those terms only when we are above the average. That's what it feels like. That's what we need to have high self-esteem. We need the comparison to boost our self-esteem, to feel better, that yes, I am above than average. And what we forget is that everyone cannot be above the average, otherwise the benchmark would change, right? So instead of using self-esteem, instead of um, relying on comparison to make you feel better, we need to move towards you know self-acceptance and self-compassion. So coming to the acceptance part, what the author is, or what came up for me was that to be honest with yourself, to be honest about the parts of you that you don't like, to be honest about the skills that you are lacking, to be honest about, all of the things that you are really afraid to see. Because sometimes we just push these things down because they make us feel bad. So, to be honest first, to see all of them in front of you, because again, this beautifully aligns with today's quote that awareness is the greatest, like, awareness leads to change. So, we need to first become aware of them if we want to improve them, in some way, if we want to work on these things so that we can enhance our life even more. So, becoming honest and recognizing your weaknesses, recognizing where you are lacking, recognizing all of those things, even if you don't like them, but still putting them in front of you. And then the second thing that I mentioned was self compassion. So, when you have them in front of you, do not go into criticizing yourself and berating yourself because that is not going to serve any purpose, at least in the long run. But instead, move towards compassion that, allow yourself to be kind to yourself for not having all these things yet, for not having all these skills yet, for doing all the things that you don't want to do, that you want to change about yourself. So being compassionate, that, it is hard for me to witness it, even it brings up so much pain. For me, it makes me feel discouraged, it makes me feel low, it makes me feel sad. So, being compassionate to yourself when you see them. So, again, comparison, do not compare, instead, be honest about what you're lacking, what is coming up. And once you become aware of them, once you become honest, then being compassionate with yourself, that, it is hard to feel all of this, all of what comes up when I see them, when I see them with honesty, when I become, you know, really, really honest with myself. And again, there are sometimes blind spots that you can't see yourself. Then, in that case, approaching a therapist, approaching a coach that can help you find those patterns and work upon them. So, yeah, this is the reading that came up. And let me know, Meg, if this resonated with you at all. And anyone else also, let me know if this resonated with you or if something else is coming up for you from what I read or from what I shared. Anything. Meg says, absolutely. So grateful to hear those words. Thank you, Anisha. You're welcome. I know this reading wasn't so like reassuring and laid back. It was more like confronted, become aware of it, and aligned with our quote very well. So, yeah. I'm glad that you let your heart be open to this reading, Meg. Meg says comparison really stifles my creativity and flow. Then what is coming up for me is also to balance, that you realize that, okay, these are the things that I'm not good at. These are the things that I think other artists, other creators are good at. Then also recognizing your, becoming aware of what is lacking, but also of what you do well, what is unique about your style, what are your gifts, how you make other people feel, through your art, through your creations, that the other creators might make them feel certain other way, but the way you make them feel, the way your presence, your expression make them feel might be completely different. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Meg. And Caro says it did resonate with me, starting from the first word mirror. Thanks, Anisha. Oh, you're so welcome, Caro. And yeah, and at times when you don't want to be honest because it feels scary, it feels too much, it feels too hard, maybe you can say to yourself that don't be like that evil stepmother. And be willing to really see the truth, because that story can be like, that reminder can be a jolt to us. Yeah. Okay, Meg says yes, definitely. Caro says lol, thanks. Oh, I'm glad that this reading resonated with you both. Hello, Aiga. So happy to see you here. And you're just in time for our second reading. So, my dear ones, let me spin the wheel again and see what message wants to come up for us now. Okay. Okay. So, holding a beautiful intention in your mind, or if you need guidance on anything specific, holding that in your awareness as we spin the wheel. Okay, guys, we got the same book again. There might be something that is left from this book, I guess. Or maybe, Aiga, we are getting this book again for you. Who knows? Because you just arrived. So, the name of the book is The Pocket by Pema Chodron. And Caitlin says, wow, and it moved at the last second. Nice. Yeah. And by the way, the other book that it was like, it was going to choose was also from Pema Chodron. Ah, I love when magic happens. It really feels like, yeah, we are being held, supported, guided, and we are getting sprinkles of fun in it. Okay, so again, the numbers between which I invite you guys to choose are 20 to 135. Here you go again. Ah. I love this wheel. Okay, thank you, Caro. Thank you, Aiga. Thank you, Caitlin. Anyone else who would like to share a number? Okay, again, we got top three, it seems like. Okay, let's see. Oh, interesting. Aiga and Caitlin's number are like, yeah, I was saying that exactly, Caitlin. Your numbers are like, inverted. Interesting. Thank you, Meg. Okay, so let's see. Oh, a lot of magic happening here. Love it. Okay. Mm. So the number that I'm feeling most called to is 72, and the number has been chosen by Aiga for all of us. Oh, thank you, dear. I said it might be for you, but I didn't. Thought that your number is the one I would be feeling called towards. Okay, so page number 72. Aiga says, oh, I feel honored. Thank you. And Caitlin says, oh, and it is 111 portal day. Yay. Okay, wow. Yeah, I think I read about it somewhere, but I didn't like, search it. I didn't know like it was today. Beautiful. Now I can see it. Now I can definitely see it. And there are like exactly 11 people here. It shows 52, but it means that 52 people entered and some of them left. But here are 11 people right now. Oh my goodness. So let's see. Hmm. So the heading says, Caitlin says it is supposed to be good for manifestation magic. Wow. Yeah, I have heard about like 1111 and 111 basically, but yeah. Thank you for letting me know about that, Caitlin. Definitely going to do some of that today then. Ah, okay, coming back. So, the heading that came up on this page is loneliness. Mm. Usually, we regard loneliness as an enemy. Heartache is not something we choose to invite in. It's restless and hot with the desire to escape and find something or someone to keep us company. When we can rest in the middle, we begin to have a non threatening relationship with loneliness, a relaxing and cooling loneliness that completely turns our usual fearful patterns upside down. So, what is coming up for me from that paragraph is, first of all, it reminds me of a meditation that we did, which was based upon a quote on Insight Timer, which was around, having your own sacred space where you don't have to perform, where you don't have to be anyone else, where you don't have to have that mask on, where you can simply drop it and be yourself and listen to yourself. Listen to your needs, listen to your fears, listen to your emotions, listen to, your thoughts. Not believe them, but listen, just notice them. So when we, become okay with sitting in stillness, being lonely, or alone, because I feel like what the author is hinting for us is to focus on, alone, not loneliness, in terms of the sacred space thing. But even with loneliness, if you are having that feeling, then the author says to, instead of feeling overwhelmed by that storm, be in that eye of that storm and just observe it, be in the middle of it, allow that feeling to emerge. So this can be like, I feel like these are interconnected. Like when you sit in that sacred space, when you sit in your stillness, still sit in stillness, maybe loneliness might come up. And if that comes up for you, then instead of running away from it, instead of, getting afraid by it, be willing to actually, feel it, to actually notice it, to notice what does it feels like in your body. And if you don't want to have this feeling, then instead of it, what kind of a feeling you want? So you don't want to, fill your time up with something, fill your life with someone, anyone, but instead to recognize that instead of feeling lonely, how else do I want to feel? What kind of a person do I want to have a relationship with? What kind of things do I want to fill my life with? So instead of doing something, inviting someone into your life to run away from loneliness, invite that person or thing into your life for the love of it instead of running away from that loneliness feeling. And when you sit with it, you realize it is not that um, scary or not that beyond your capacity, beyond your ability to hold it, because you are the awareness, remember? So, yeah, okay, that was what came up for me. um, yeah, and if you want, you can check out that sacred space meditation. If you want, I can share that in my group. Later on, I have to search it in which particular episode we did that, but I can share it with you. And yeah, you can let me know in my group, which is Wonderful Beings, and I will share the name of the practice and where you can find it. Okay, and let's see. Hmm. Yeah, that's it. What came up for me. And now let's see what came up here in the comments. Okay, so Aiga says relaxing, cooling, loneliness. Yeah, I love that too. It just by reading that I felt relaxed. Not cooled down, thankfully, because it is cold. But yeah, relaxed. Aiga says own sacred space. It is so right for me. My partner accompanies me in life, but you feel I can be alone even around him. Perfect calm and ease. So perfect for me and very important for everyone, not to run away from loneliness. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm glad that it felt perfect for you. And yeah, it's important to not get into a relationship with a thing or with someone just to get away from something, but to move towards something. And before I read the rest of the comments, Caro says, need to leave. See you another time. Oh, I would love to have you another time, Caro. Let me put out my next live here in case you feel like joining. Um, and it is at the same time. It was lovely to have you here, dear. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with all of us. And I hope that you have a wonderful day ahead. Okay. Let's go back to the rest of the comments now. Yeah. Mega says, what is the name of the group? Dear Anisha, your wonderful beings. Okay. Um, I guess is school also in Poland. Oh, you are from Poland. And it is snowing hugely. Oh, yeah, I can assume it might be a lot more cooler for a lot of you guys compared to where I am now. But and I get like really, really cool. My hands and my extremes are like really cold, even if I'm in a blanket, even if I'm warming them in front of a heater or something, still they get very cold. So I hope that you guys can feel a sense of warmth. Let's see. Caro says blessings to all of you. Thank you, Caro, for your blessings. Um, I guess says blessings. I moved between UK and Poland due to family. Okay, and both are very cold. Uh, and thank you for the sun, Aiga. I guess we all can use a little bit of sunlight if the weather permits. Hi, Vineet. Hi, welcome. Welcome. You're just in time for our third reading. So let us take out the wheel again and see what wants to come through. Okay. So let's see, my dear ones. If you have anything specific that you need guidance on, you can hold that in your awareness as we spin the wheel. And if not, then simply hold a prayer, a wish that may everyone here receives a message that is for their highest good. Okay, so the book that came for all of us is Why Has Nobody Told Me This Before? And this book is by Dr. Julie Smith. So let's see what has no one ever told you guys before. And until let me, open the book and choose some numbers. And until I do that, if you guys have received something of value from this live up until now, and if you guys would like to make a contribution to help me keep these lives going, to also help me create a lot other resources, I'm currently working on a free guide that I promised you, I guess, towards the end of December, but I didn't felt like creating it then. And it is going to be about how to create your best life. So yeah, every donation goes towards that, towards creating all of these kind of resources. Oh, thank you, dear Meg, for this kind gift. I am so happy that the reading resonated with something deep in your heart. And I hope that this loving energy that you're sending my way multiplies and comes back to you in beautiful, unexpected ways. Okay, so yeah, let me open the book and choose some numbers. By the way, this is the book. And let's see the numbers for the game. Okay, so my dear ones, I invite you guys to pick a number between 45 to 250. Again, no rush, take your time. I will pick a number based on my intuition randomly, okay? Thank you, Misha. Thank you, Meg. Thank you, Kim. Wendy. Anyone else who would like to pick a number? Okay, then. Let's see which number am I feeling called to amongst these. Thank you, Dipali. Thank you, Vineet. Okay. So the number that I'm feeling most called to is 155, and the number has been chosen by Wendy for all of us. Oh, hi, dear Emily. Oh, you just picked a number. But I hope that the message that comes up resonates with you as well. Okay, let's see what is on page number 155. Okay, so in the first reading we talked about a little bit about self-acceptance, and it seems like the reading that came up is like a summary of the chapter that was just there before it, and it is around self-acceptance. So, the author says there is a misconception that self-acceptance will cause laziness, complacency, and a lack of drive. In reality, the research shows that those who develop self acceptance and learn to be self compassionate are less likely to fear failure and more likely to try again when they do fail. Again, in reality, the research shows that those who develop self acceptance and learn to be self compassionate are less likely to fear failure and more likely to try again when they do fail. Self acceptance is not the same as passively accepting defeat. Self compassion often involves taking the more difficult road that is in your best interest. Okay, guys. Hmm. So before I share, what is coming up for me from this reading, I want to acknowledge this beautiful gift by CJ, which is a donation, and it is like 11:11, and there were 11 people here, and we are getting a lot around 11 here. So thank you, CJ. I am, thank you for bringing more alignment into the space, more magic, and thank you for this gift. I am glad that something from the space resonated with you so much. It means a lot. Thank you, dear. Oh, a lot of like surprises and magic is happening today in this space. Okay. Coming to the reading, especially the research part, the thing is that we are, when we face a setback, when we fail at something, then the thing is that if we are more self accepting, if we are more self compassionate, then we are more likely to actually be able to admit, you know, that okay, to actually take an honest look that this went wrong, this went right, this is what I lacked, this is what I need to work upon, to be able to learn from it. Because if we are more critical, then usually we are afraid of that critical voice. We are afraid that that self critic, that inner critic would come up again and berate us and make us, feel shame and guilt and all of those different things. But instead, if we know that we are, kind, we are compassionate, we are accepting of ourselves, of what we do, then we are more likely to actually take a honest look, which was the first reading, which the first reading was about, to be able to take an honest look. So we this self-compassion and this self-acceptance gives us the environment to open up, to be honest, to admit our mistakes, to admit our failures. And it is usually like, um, it is easier to admit your mistakes to a compassionate parent compared to a judgmental or a critical parent. You would be more likely to admit your mistakes with a compassionate one because you don't want to be judged, criticized, punished, and all of those different things. And when you do that, when you admit them, then you have a chance to learn from them, then you have a chance to work on them. And another thing is that it is found that in research that, when we are self-compassionate, then we can easily learn from our mistakes, because when we are critical, the learning centers of our brain actually shuts down. So we cannot learn from our mistakes in a critical environment. We need a more loving, compassionate environment where our system feels safe enough to keep the learning centers open, and then we can, make progress based on that. So I feel like this was an addition that was needed for anyone who received the first reading around being honest and admitting our mistakes, and taking an honest look at ourselves as to what I lack, what I need to work upon, what are the things that I need to change about myself, about my life, and all of those different things. And we you know it is interesting, these were the two things that popped in my head, was self acceptance and self compassion. And now certain people, a lot of us actually, including myself, I had the myth about like it means, just if I'm more self compassionate with myself, then I would just, uh how do I put what okay, give me a second to translate it into English. Yeah, we would be easy with ourselves, we would allow ourselves to indulge and do all of those different things, be lazy, be passive. But the thing is that if we really care about ourselves, if we really love ourselves, then we would do the things that is right for us. And that is the energy that we want to bring into change. Not to run away from criticism, not to, run away from all of that, but to do something for ourselves out of love, out of this care for ourselves. So, so yeah, you would not be passive. You would provide yourself a nice environment, and you would be motivated to create a change because you love yourself. Okay. Iga says, wonderful CJ. Taking the route which is your best interest. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, that is the, the perfect line for it. Great quote. Honest look at ourselves. Yeah, this message is coming up again and again. So maybe we need to do that. And so I guess the theme of today was awareness, taking an honest look, and then being compassionate and kind about it, being accepting about it. Ah. And I'm also glad because it kind of reassures. It was also a message for me because because I'm as I told you, I'm creating this guide. And the first step of it is to gain that awareness, is to take an honest look at your life. And I was really hoping to actually announce it today in today's live that, yeah, I've created something like this, but it seems like it would take another day because it is like a rough guide right now. And actually it includes the exact process that I've guided a lot of my clients to help them build a life that is authentic, that is fulfilling, because that is what I do. So um yeah, so I'm hoping that, I would be able to release it tomorrow. Yeah, I'm really hoping that. And I will let you guys know when I do that. And if you guys are interested, maybe you can message me then I can, let you know once I release it. So you guys can message me that interested. You can simply message me interested. Or no, you can message me guide. Okay. Whatever works for you. Okay. And let me know, if this message resonated with you, Wendy, or anyone else, if anything else is coming up for you guys. Aiga says awareness, honest look, being compassionate and accepting. Exactly. This kind of summarizes today's readings or whatever we discussed. Aiga says, I'm going to join the group and listen to the tracks you mentioned. Yeah, Aiga. Yeah, I am glad that you did summarized it. You summarized it beautifully. And I so believe in summary because we forget these things. And in that group that you're talking to join, which is, let me type the name for anyone who joined later on. So I have a group on Insight Timer, which is Wonderful Beings. And I do post the summary of the live there in that group as well. So you don't miss out on anything. I will mention the name of the books, the exact readings, and everything. And I will also, share. So I will also share the exact track, the exact live in which we did that sacred space meditation. Okay. So it would take me time. So I would share it later on in the group. Um, Maybe in the comment section of today's post. Okay. Okay, wonderful. You're welcome, Aiga. You're welcome. Okay. So, my dear ones, I guess this is time to end this live. I so loved spending time with you all. And I really hope that you guys got something out of this space, out of, the readings, the meditation, whatever, resonated with you. So, yeah, thank you for being here. And I so hope to see each and every one of you in the live, which is day after tomorrow at the same time. And if you guys missed anything from this live, or if you want to do the meditation again, which was based upon today's Insight Timer quote, then you can find it here. You can go to my profile, you can go to the About section there towards the end, okay? And when you scroll down here, you will find today's live as well as all the previous lives in one place, okay? So, and there are some offerings and other stuff as well you can explore here. And I will, when I release the guide, I will put that here as well so you can easily access it. Okay, so I guess that's it. Kathleen says, thank you, Anisha. You're so welcome, Kathleen. I guess says, all of it resonated. Thank you. Namaste. Namaste. I bow down to the divine within you all. Namaste. May you all be safe, healthy, happy, and loved. May you all be free from suffering. Bye. Take care.